Remember when entertainment was actually entertaining? When comedy was about being funny, movies were about telling great stories, and you didn't need a political lecture every time you hit play. Great entertainment still exists, it's just getting harder to find. Even the biggest streaming platforms leave audiences disappointed. That's why there's Studio TST, pure entertainment, real comedy, independent films, bold creators, movies, comedy, music, and more, and the home of fearless sketch comedy. That show tonight, entertainment the way you want it. Funny, creative, unapologetic, and agenda-free. Studio TST, the future of entertainment starts here. Join Studio TST today for just $5 a month.
Hello, friends. Do you have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRNradio.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
3:30 in the morning, not a soul in sight. The city's looking like a ghost town on a moonlit summer night. Raindrops on the windshield, there's a storm moving in. He's headed back from somewhere that he never should have been. And the thunder rolls.
And good evening to everybody in KLRN land. Yes, the storm is brewing in and we're getting ready for it. This is your early introduction to the weekend, your sneak preview. This is Disasters in the Making. I'm Brad Slager, getting ready to usher you through some of the dark sides and back alleyways of Hollywood. But I'm not doing it by myself. Joining me on every one of these dark ventures from ScreenRant.com, it's Paul Young. What is happening, Paul?
How you doing there, Bradley? Speaking of storms, there's one brewing up here in Jacksonville right now. We've had some major electrical storms here in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Are you getting any storms like that down south?
We're just getting our usual summer rain cycle. South Florida has to go through that. It's just that this time of year, every afternoon, we're going to get rain. It's just a promise. It has to get hot as hell, rain for a while. Let's get some steam going and then have the sun come back out around 4 o'clock.
So I'd say April and August. April showers bring me flowers, but August will soak you to the bone.
Now we just got the typical nonsense. It's hot as hell, and then look at that, it's going to rain. Because we don't have enough humidity here. Let's have some more. So
I know.
It was rather fitting, though. I saw precipitation here, and it was rather nice as a tie-in for our venture tonight.
Well, we should have done Hard Rain, but I like that movie.
Didn't we do that already? I want to say that was one of our first.
I'm sure we
efforts.
have. You know, what is this? We're going on year number 7. 2000
Something like that.
July of 2019 was our first one
We've been at this. Yes.
for a hot minute or two. So we've covered half a dozen films or so, I think, in that amount of time.
Yes, and I might even dare say we've covered this one 6 years ago, even though it's a brand new 2026 movie. What I mean by that is it's damn derivative, but what are you going to do
It was super derivative, bro.
when it's
like
when it's this kind of content? Well, just to explain it, it's summertime, so Paul and I just wrapped up our Mount Rushmore of bad movies that we were themed with this summer. Coming hot off of that, why don't we just do a continuation of what the other summer tradition that took place a week or so ago, Shark Week.
Shark Week. Look, bro, I found this movie. I bet you if I was to go through our text messages and look at these, because Brad and I talk on text quite a bit. And I think when I said, hey, let's talk about Thrash, you might have thought I was referring to that skater movie.
Yes. Initially, or maybe it was a documentary on a heavy metal group.
I brought this up to you April 14th of this year. I brought this movie to your attention April 14th. So, 4 months ago? Almost to the day? This movie hit my radar. And I'm like, there's a shark movie, and it looks absolutely terrible. We need to cover this. And then we just put it on the back burner, and it just sweltered.
Yeah, you have to understand something, though. Paul and I, with our proclivity for this type of cinema, we have no shortage of shark-themed ventures. I mean, it seems like every other month you or I will come up with a new one that just come out. Oh, my God, have you seen this one? Have you checked this one out? Oh, look what's on the horizon now. I even had a joke the other night. I was in the tavern and got a buddy that works there that's also into bad movies, and we're always trading titles and such. So he said, what's coming up? And I was like, oh, we've got Shark Week. It's going to be tough coming up with a title, though. And he says, really? You can't find a shark movie? I was like, no, it's the other way around. Which damn shark movie are we going to pick?
I know.
On any given year, I think there's probably a dozen or so that come out every year of this nature.
There's
sharks, and they suck.
There's Jurassic Shark. I know we covered that one. Jurassic Shark, Noah Shark. Remember that one? The Noah's Ark with the shark flying about. Sand Shark. There's 6 Sharknado movies, which we're a fan of the Sharknado films. That they are near and dear to us. In fact, have you? I'm pretty sure I sent you the trailer for it, but have you seen Water Park Shark yet? Where the sharks get into the water park?
Mention that.
It's by Anthony Ferrante, and he did all 6 Sharknado movies. And here's the weird part: it's co-written by a guy named Daniel Levin, not friend of the show Thunder Levin. And I can't find out if they're brothers or if they're related. I can't figure it out.
Maybe it's a screen name of his.
No, it's a completely different person. I'm looking at pictures of him.
Yeah, that is always our challenge. If we ever have to settle on a shark film, that doesn't even come close to solving our problem. In fact, it probably creates more.
They call them shark exploitation movies.
Sure they do.
Sharkploitation, which is fantastic. No, it's a whole series of movies in Wikipedia. They start back in 1950, sharkploitation films, and there are, holy cow! I'm scrolling and scrolling. I can't even count this many. There are a lot here, bro. And it just keeps going. Now, when the Asylum came out and realized that they can make movies, it was easy to capitalize on sharks. I guess maybe AI does sharks or CG does sharks really well. But here's one: Shark-and-Saw Women's Prison Massacre. I want to see that. Do you not want to see that?
Yes, I do.
Shark-and-Saw.
Absolutely.
That's a fantastic play on words, son.
Mm-hmm.
The Shark-and-Saw Women's Prison Massacre. Oh, it's got.
Saw one a few years ago.
Tracy Lords. Tracy Lords.
Sharks. Oh, there you go. Yeah, sharks had infected the canals of Venice. Was a good one.
Piranha
And
sharks.
I think there's been sharks in space. There's megalodons have been rejuvenated.
I'm all
There's
about
hybrids.
avalanche sharks, ghost sharks, sharks who are ghosts,
Of course.
super sharks,
Gotta have those.
swamp sharks, shark night, sharktopus, sharktopus versus whale wolf. Whale wolf. That's a Roger Corman
Saw
joint,
that one.
bud. Look, Roger Corman.
I saw
man.
that one. That's that's a sci-fi venture with Corman at the helm. Absolutely. It's
The sharks get around too, bro. You got spring break shark, shark in Venice, Jaws in Japan, sharks in Malibu. They don't just sticking around in one spot.
They get frequent swimmer miles.
Yes. Sharkenstein? What is that?
Wow. Yes.
Come on now. But we love
a
shark films.
Christmas shark venture.
No, was there a Christmas shark movie? Of course there was. Why am I even asking it that way?
He had a Santa hat on the dorsal fin.
Holy heck, that's awesome. Oh, sky sharks. We got sharks in the sky, Ouija sharks, sharks of the corn. I think we watched the trailer for that where it's like children of the corn of sharks.
Wow.
Look, it was a toss up between this movie Thrash and the Devil's Mouth. Have you watched that on Prime yet? I've watched both of these now. I can safely say
I saw the trailers, and it's exactly what I'm talking about too. Like when we do this, you threw Thrash at me, and I was thinking it was that one on Prime, and I was like, oh, pick one, because I was in such a furor this week. It's like whatever you pick is not going to be a failure, so go for it.
Well, it was either going to be that or Cocaine Shark, which was a parody of Cocaine Bear. It came out in 2023, but it was Japanese. So clearly that was on the level on the table.
Yeah, I was talking with somebody on Twitter a couple of months ago about that one. I was like, wait, is this absolutely real? And then they sent me a trailer, and we were DMing each other back and forth a little bit. It's somebody that's, I think, in the industry, but, like sub-level, and they're like, oh, no, this is real, and it's coming out, it's promoted. And it's like, I'm on it. So, yeah, this is a topic that is both, exciting and maddening for us.
Well, Jaws started it, right?
Like,
1978, or is it 79?
75.
75. Jaws 2 was 78. It started the whole process, and then people just tried to capitalize on it, including Jaws. The Jaws franchise tried to capitalize on it and never really found the same.
Well, I love that.
Yeah,
because after that, basically Jaws built the summer blockbuster. It caused, because of that, summer beforehand had always been regarded as kind of just a downturn for Hollywood. It wasn't regarded as fertile time, so they would just either dump movies or put them in theaters and forget about them for a while. Jaws comes out, and literally the term blockbuster was made because people were lining up around the block to watch this film, and nobody had seen this before. And that is literally what the term means. So as a result, for the ensuing probably 10 to 20 years, we saw all kinds of Jaws mock-ups come out. There was Barracuda, Orca.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all kinds of threatening animals in the ocean. I mean, there was giant squid, there were octopus, they came up with it. Humanoids from the deep and things of this nature. So it created its own genre. It created the summer blockbuster season.
Yes.
And Hollywood altered forever ever since this movie came out.
Which is why I like Megalodon so much, because it got back to the blockbuster version of the shark that we had grown to love. They tried to make sharks more serious. A shark is not a serious person. If anybody's ever watched Jabberjaw, they know sharks are not serious people. So when they tried to do that with the shallows and 47 meters down.
I mean, I try not to interject on this show often, but I have to point something out. Just for the record, sharks are not people.
Well,
see, I'm offended by that, Rick.
I mean, did you not watch Finding Dory?
We have an assimilation with them.
People are friends, not food.
The Pink Panther show even had Mr. Jaws cartoon.
Yes,
along
that's
with
what I'm saying. Sharks are your friends. That a shark?
It's just
I stand by my statement. Feel free to resume your show.
So yes, this is a cultural entry now. I mean, it's just embedded in our culture to the extent now I don't think people are scared like they used to, because when Jaws came out, it was probably 5 or 10 years before a lot of people were even comfortable enough to go to the beach.
Well,
You
my wife is still uncomfortable with sharks. And my son turns 20. He's 20 years old now. He joined the military. He has his first drill weekend tomorrow morning at 6. And when he goes surfing with his buddies, his mama says, "Look out for sharks." It's the first thing
Of
she
course,
tells
of
him.
course. Yeah, I didn't know it's a mentality too. I've been out scuba diving plenty of times with sharks. I mean, we went down one time when the hammerheads were migrating and they were running into us. They were just hell bent on wherever they were going and didn't really bother with us, but we had to swim through them basically. So you encounter it. I've had a girlfriend before. We went swimming in the ocean at night and she's like, "I'm scared to death." I go, "Why?" What if something gets to us? It's like, "We were at the beach in the daytime and you were not bothered." She's like, "Yeah, but the sun was out."
Right, so I can see the sharks.
There's a mentality some people have with this stuff. So it's
Well, the movie we're talking about tonight, they don't really give the shark its due. They're all computer generated sharks. They're all just in the water swimming about, and they look generic. There's not a single like fun shark to watch or to keep an eye on. That's like the Meg just kept it to one single megalodon shark. It did bring in a couple of other megalodons as family later on, but for the most part, it was like one big major shark. This is like supposed to be a story about the people, but the people are kind of annoying. Like I'm always rooting for the shark, but in this case, I was like really rooting for the shark.
I mean, it's a good point. The shark threat, and there is even a body count in this thing, and yet, curiously enough, the sharks themselves are not a feature. It's supposed to be a character-driven film. Problem: we don't care about anybody in this movie.
None of them. I didn't care about the kids. I didn't care about that pregnant woman from New York driving an electric Mini Cooper that had a stick shift and a dial. What in the world? What? I didn't care about the girl living in a giant home by herself after both of her parents are dead with crippling anxiety that won't even get out to walk down the sidewalk. I didn't care about the weatherman or the guy driving the boat. I didn't care about the three foster kids that use dynamite to blow. Get out of here. I didn't care about the foster parents. There's nobody in this movie to care about. I cared about the shark. Why you kill the poor shark? He's just trying to do his thing. Why are you messing with him?
I mean, about the only one I had an attachment to was Digimon Hansu.
Only because he's the best actor in the film.
Yeah, and he's in it for all of 10 minutes, maybe.
When he tells that story, he lost me as a character. When he tells that story on the boat about the hippopotamus, he suddenly breaks out a hippopotamus story. It has zero to do with anything. And the guy's like, "You know what I did next? What? Went to your hut and got a spear?" And I'm like, "What? Did you just write this?" What? He's like, "Yeah, I went to my apartment." And I'm like, "You just made this story. You just told this story in a way that said, I am living by the river in a hut." That's how you told the story. You told it that way on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm down there looking for crayfish, like he's Robert Downey Jr.'s character in Tropic Thunder. Some crayfish. What?
This is a common theme throughout the film, is that they can't keep, they come up with an element that might work and then they completely undermine said element at the same time.
Botch it
and
entirely.
It's just,
and I guess it's all on the writer director. He wrote and directed this movie, Tommy Wirkola. He's what is
right.
he? No, he's not Australian. He's Norwegian, right?
Right. Yeah, he is somewhat of a name because of his Nazi zombie movie called Dead Snow.
Have you watched it?
I want to say like half of it. Because I was like watching on a plane or something. It's like, oh, I'm going to get back to it, and then never did. but decently done for what it is. This was 5 years or so ago when zombies were everywhere, and he came up with a good one. Yes. Uh-oh. Paul has just informed us that they had a complete blackout where he's at.
Uh-oh. I wondered what happened. I was like, wait a minute.
I just got him on the phone, actually. So
nice.
You gonna try to call in on the phone?
I was gonna say if he can shoot me his number, I can call. We can try to connect that way.
Indeed. So you'll have to hang up with me so you can call back with me. So you have an electrical storm and it knocked out your electrical. This is a paradox. This is a problem, but all right. Well, hang up with me and I'll carry the story. I'll do the backstory until you come back. All right. So we will fight through this, apparently. So, yes, we have a venture here, as he said, from writer-director Tommy Wacola. And even though he did cut his teeth by coming up with a zombie Nazi film.
Am I in?
This seems a step down. There you go.
Yeah, you're in.
I'm on my phone. This is probably the best you're going to be able to get. I'm using my earbuds on my phone.
You actually sound a little better.
Oh, well, thanks a lot for that, Brad. I'm working by candlelight here.
Bless the lightning gods. How about that?
Well, I'm glad I charged my phone. I'm at 81%.
Mine's at 20.
So yeah, I'm just talking about how Wacola is somehow taking a step down here. He got a decent budget from Sony,
9 hours,
but they don't have a film they think is releasable apparently. So Sony ends up selling the rights of their completed shark movie to Netflix. And then Netflix decides not to even put this in theaters.
And they shouldn't. Look, I liked Dead Snow. Dead Snow 2 was kind of dumb, but I liked Dead Snow. So I was really hoping he would have done something with this because Dead Snow was pretty original in my opinion with his idea and execution. And then he has botched this. He took everything he didn't know and tried to write about it. That's what he did. Yeah. He doesn't know anything about hurricanes, sharks, boats, apparently people, and sure doesn't know anything about South Carolinians, people from South Carolina.
Well, I think here is a little bit of the problem. We have a Norwegian who is writing about a tropical storm on the east coast of America and decides to film the entire enterprise in Australia.
Yeah, Melbourne. They filmed the whole thing in Melbourne. Now, I will give them some credit for how they depicted the building sinking. So they built this huge self-contained, it's held 1 million liters, but get out of here with the King's metrics. I need to know what the standards are. But it built this huge bucket essentially and built all of the props inside of it and then filled it with water. And all of the buildings were designed to slowly sink instead of raising the water level up. Which I think is pretty good. Okay. I will give them some more credit for keeping the sets pretty tight. They needed to keep them tight. The kids spend most of their time in the kitchen on the counter, for no reason. But everybody stays inside of a building. He didn't waste a lot of money going around town filming in multiple locations and that kind of stuff. So I'll give him some credit on that. Visually, the movie's pretty decent, truthfully.
Yeah, I mean, there's, plenty of CGI. You got to, wade through a lot of that, no pun intended. But even so, it wasn't horrible. And you get, these claustrophobic scenes, yes, but they tend to work. The logic, though, is where the problem comes into play. So he would have done much better to have maybe some American technical advisors who'd actually been through a hurricane. But hey,
Maybe.
we're dealing with a shark movie. You're basically going to be derivative no matter what you do, but you and I have already done this movie, like I implied. Hurricane comes in, floods a town, a killer menace floods into the municipal areas. This is exactly the movie Crawl that we did.
It is. And I liked Crawl. Look, I know Crawl.
Yes, I did
I know
too.
Crawl's kind of a dumb film, so to speak, right? But I liked it. They don't do much with alligators and stuff like that, and I thought that was a fairly decent attempt. I remember Eric and I, my daughter, we went to go see that movie in the theaters, and we had an absolute blast. It was fun. It was fate. It made sense because the alligators had a big nest. It made sense. This doesn't make sense. All they could do was say, "Hey, these are bull sharks." How is everybody in this movie a dad blasted shark expert?
And then they completely undermine even that. So just another example too of them properly introducing something and then completely cutting their own legs out from under them. We'll get to that in the climax. Yes, we will.
I'll tell you this much: when he started talking about that hippopotamus story, it made me want to turn this movie off and go watch Hungry. Have you seen the trailers for that? I thought it was a fake film. It's a real movie about hungry hippos.
I haven't seen that yet. I've heard it, being made and coming out, but I have not. Seen the evidence.
It's on Prime for $5.99.
Oh, so we're there.
It's already streaming. We will probably have to approach that for like October.
Well, I was going to say maybe Christmas, because it's toy season.
That's not bad. I mean, I like where you're at, sir.
See?
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So, yes, that is the premise of this movie. A hurricane comes bearing down on the Carolina shoreline, north, south, we're not sure, because they only show the hurricane on radar offshore, and it could go either way. But the town floods, the sharks come in, and the gentry has to deal with them. That's it. And somehow they managed to take that little straightforward plot line and screw it up.
And it's not a hard plot line. Look at I'm not banging on the story, right? The idea for the story is a big hurricane is coming ashore. It brings a storm surge. Okay, that's all familiar stuff. That happens. I mean, Andrew devastated most of Homestead because of it, and then Katrina absolutely devastated Louisiana because the storm surge. So that's a thing. That's a thing that happens. So I get that, and you're okay. I'm with you so far. All right, you want to introduce a shark element? All right, maybe introduce one or two sharks. Instead, you go, hey, I've never seen them travel in boats like this. So here's a bunch of sharks. They're just everywhere, and then suddenly nowhere. They are everywhere, and then when the pregnant lady starts giving birth underwater, we'll get to that. When she starts, and there's blood, she's swimming in blood. These other people are just like standing in their kitchen in knee-deep water, and a bull shark just starts ripping them apart. But she's swimming in placenta, and the sharks just don't come at it at all. Get out of here. Just get out of here. You can't even play by your own rules.
Well, we have a number of close calls, as we'll cover too.
But only for the strong female woman, pregnant New Yorker type. This lady's like, I've never seen a hurricane. I don't know what to do in a hurricane. Lady, Hurricane Sandy came up there and obliterated New York. You have seen hurricanes. You're not that far inland.
Yeah. Yes, but it takes absolutely zero time to grasp that we are not in the hands of a deft individual when the movie begins with a title card that explains to us how climate change is causing hurricane season to swell by 250%.
Since 1980. But let's just completely ignore the fact that last year there were 0 major hurricane landfalls. 0.
Yes. Well, how about this? I mean, Paul and I, living in the peninsula that we do, are very familiar with hurricanes. So we have at our disposal, research and data and historical records. it has been shown that over the last century, there is no appreciable increase in the amount or the intensity of hurricanes.
No.
It's you look at the graph and the spikes go up and down on a year-to-year basis. One year, Florida got slammed, I think, like 6 times. Al Gore was out there promising this is just going to continue on every single year because of warming.
Right.
The next year, nothing hit Florida whatsoever, which by his estimation should mean global warming was over.
My favorite thing is when people tell me, the Earth's foundations and the structure and the way it looks was formed by huge storms over the course of millions of years. And you're like, okay, so the storms of this, well, we've never seen them this intense. You're telling me they were intense enough to form the continents, but they're not intense enough now to level city. Stop it. Just stop.
Well, I mean, just a few years ago, they kept promising, the water's heating up. We're going to get them all the time. We didn't have a named hurricane until almost September.
Yeah.
Like the entire month of July, there weren't any named storms, not even tropical storms.
Now it's going to be bad this year. I think we're going to get. I'm predicting at least 4, if not 5, major storms making landfall along the East Coast somewhere. I'm not a weather person, but I watch one on TV. And
yeah, but I mean, look at it this way: we're already into August. We've barely had any.
Well, they've been in the Gulf, in the Pacific, headed out towards Mexico area. But we've had a lot of sand coming out the Sahara, and it's been really hot. So the first 2 or 3 storms are going to be super intense, and then they'll just die down because all that warm water out of the Gulf and the Atlantic has been sucked up into the sky, and that Sahara sand makes things worse. And we didn't have that much sand last year.
Counterpoint. This is they're saying that this is one of the more severe El Nino years, and those generally tamp down hurricane activity because the upper level winds are much stronger and shear everything off. So basically what Paul and I are saying, the opening title card is full of crap.
Yes.
No way to open a film that's centered on hurricanes by displaying the fact you have no clue what you're talking about when it comes to the subject matter that your movie's based on. Well, that's not a good start. But from there, we get the audio montage of weather reports. Storm brewing up in the Atlantic, and people are watching it now. In 24 hours, it has already swelled up to a Category 2, and pretty much this is our entry into our characters.
And that's what,
as a Cat 5 is making a beeline for them.
And it says it hadn't moved anywhere, and it just goes, it's a Category 2. And then he goes, Category 5 could be a 6. If there was a Category 6, this would be it. Oh. All right.
So there's no such thing.
Didn't we cover a Mel Gibson movie that was about he was like trying to rob a bank in a hurricane or fight some people?
No, it was the one down in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the entire thing took place in an apartment complex in a hospital. One floor of a hospital.
That's right. I forget what was that called.
Oh yeah, what the hell was it? It was like Aggie and I talk about it all the time too.
Hurricane Rush.
It was like Tidal Surge or something like that.
Something
I mean, it was yeah, and I think they shot it in like 11 days. Like I remember it was like they came down there and Mel Gibson worked like 4 days in order to get on the poster and collect the check. They shot in 2 locations and kept telling us there's a hurricane. It was about the way it worked. But this one's not much better. We, as Paul and I said, we get a group of people that we absolutely just don't care about. These are not vibrant individuals. The main star, I guess, and this is only more out of insistence than actuality, is Dakota. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not her. Lisa. She's pregnant. She drives a Mini Cooper. She works at a meat packing plant. Even though she keeps telling us repeatedly she's from New York.
And yeah, she's a vegan. And she's one of those ones that she's going to tell you she's a vegan. So I'm a vegan
sure.
and an atheist. So that's just, well, good job. Okay. I'm going to tell you
How
what it's
about
about.
Pilates? Are you doing that too?
Oh my gosh. I take vitamins.
But she's somewhat of the focus of things, but kind of not really. We also then cut to a great big house in which a teenager by the name of Dakota lives. She's sullen. She doesn't say a lot. She wakes up in the morning and her kitchen is loaded with food that she never put in the refrigerator, like a half a gallon of milk, and others are sitting out.
And look, I'm not trying to downplay mental health here because it is 100% a thing. Goodness gracious, bro! I can see my whole front yard when this lightning hits. I can see my whole front yard. It's not even raining; it's just lightning, and it's lighting up everything, and it's close. I'm gonna have sharks come through my window.
Well, I hope we can wrap up the show before that happens.
So I'm not going to downplay this girl's mental
Or wait,
health.
hang on. If we don't wrap up the show before it happens, please make sure your camera's on. It'll help the ratings.
Oh, like that golfer.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I get it. She is clearly struggling with the passing of her mother, and she's been unable to get rid of her crippling social anxiety to be able to leave the house and participate in society. That's a real thing. People deal with that all the time. I have a friend that's going through something similar. That being said, how are you living on your own in this gigantic home? How are you maintaining it? How are you continuing to pay for it if you can't even leave the house?
Well, this is, I'm not slamming it as a character choice by itself. However, from an audience perspective, this doesn't make for a compelling character.
She would have been an okay character if she was the only character. And she had to overcome, and they filmed it with just like her trying to get to her uncle. I'm in. Okay, that sounds great. She has to leave. She has to leave the house, and now she's fighting one shark or two sharks. She's got to kind of get out of the building. That's not happening. You've just created a character that is a problem for no reason other than to be a problem. They did a couple of things in this film where they would do a setup, and you're like, okay, that's going to pay off later. They're clearly phoning this in. When they show her at the meat packing plant and they're dumping all that, got the blood coming out of the top of he's running around with like all this byproduct, this bloody byproduct in the back of his tanker. I'm like, okay, so he's going to get in a wreck somewhere and it's going to spill blood into the water in the town center, and all the sharks are going to come and feed. Nope, no payoff. They even pierced the truck. No blood came out of it. Sharks showed up anyway. Okay.
No, Paul, we're going to address that because apparently you missed a detail.
Oh, well, and then and for her, she's watching this video of her and her mom when she was a little girl, showing her how to shoot a Nerf dart gun. I'm like, oh, this is going to come back into play, and it did. Yeah. It kind of did, but her mom said something specific, and they never addressed that specific thing again. And she just shoots a shark in the head with a spear gun out of water. Which doesn't work, by the way, because it's not designed to.
Well, I just say that I dare say that we just saw Chekhov's Nerf gun. Literally. Because she's sullen and depressed. She tries to order food and they're telling her, girl, there's a storm coming. We're closed. Like, what about the grocery store? And she tries to go to the grocery store and that fails because she's got agoraphobia. And then somebody says, hey, you got to get out of here. If you need a ride out, we'll take you. No, I'll be fine. What's with the sound effects there, Paul?
Can you hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Kept waiting for the guitar riffs to start again from Thunder Road or something.
I thought you were starting the Garth Brooks song again.
My son was sitting on the porch on the swing. He is now walking inside.
Naked shower is not.
But yeah, this is a character that's just not appealing. She's just not that worthwhile.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
Then we have a group of we have 3 children, siblings, teenager down to about a 7-year-old or so.
And you know what? And I liked that that group dynamic. I like that family dynamic between the older brother taking care of the middle sister and the younger son and getting together. They did not explain how all these people were related to that guy and the woman until what, more than halfway through the film. It was near the end of the second act.
Yeah, I mean they're foster kids, right?
Yeah, but you don't find that out until much, much later.
Yeah, they don't really do a lot of setup. You know, they're out there in the river swing roping and stuff, and then the guy pulls up and starts barking at them. Get out of the water! There's snakes. Right? He's his one note redneck pissed off individual.
And I told you, I said they made this redneck. I texted you and I was like, they made this guy so redneck stereotype. You cannot convince me he had a Cam Newton jersey hanging in his house. If anything, he's got it's South Carolina. It's Charleston. They're Gamecock fans. There's no way they're not Gamecock fans. So hang a Gamecock flag up there if you want to. But a Cam Newton jersey? Yeah, here. That's Charlotte, North Carolina, but not Charleston, North Carolina. I guarantee you he screwed that up. I guarantee you this Norwegian thought Charleston and Charlotte were close enough for it to matter.
Well, it's one of them Carolinas. They're all the same, right? But he's obviously a detestable character, and we're rooting for him to get eaten, and that's it.
And that's the only reason.
That's all it is.
And that's the only reason he's in there. Again, if this movie had, if this writer had condensed the film to be about the three kids' family unit, and the only bad guy that you want to see get dead is the guy, and he's keeping them alive, but then they come around to him and he saves them or sacrifices himself to save him, save themselves, or he saves them, whatever. A Jack Rose kind of situation near the end. All right, but you've got a story that's going to hold my interest a bit. And now I care about a character because you've given me 90 minutes to do so. That's not what he's doing here.
Not at all.
Not even a little bit. It's kind of ridiculous. He spread himself way too thin with character development, meaning that nobody got any development at all.
Right. And then, as we said, Digimon Hansu is in this, and he plays a shark researcher who conveniently never actually researches sharks. We see him pull up on a boat, and this TV crew, for some reason, approaches him for details about the sharks that are going to come ashore, possibly. He explains to them that their claim is completely bat crap crazy, walks away, and then promptly spends the entire movie with them. I'm not sure how that works, but okay. Let's see. Do we have?
Well, hey, can you tell me about
pretty much it?
And they set up the camera guy, the cameraman, and the weather guy. They set him up to be garbage. They want you to hate him so he can get eaten. He never does. He never gets eaten. Never even. I don't even know if he sees a shark. Yeah, he did. He sees two sharks at the end of the film when they have their Tyrannosaurus Jurassic World moment with the great white. They made these bull sharks to be out the velociraptors, and they made the great white just swimming around to be the T-Rex. I mean, is that the vibe you got?
Pretty much, yeah. And as soon as I saw that, I just sat back and said, bullshit.
You mean bull shark? Bull shark.
So this is the this is the setup. We spend a lot of time with these people that we never managed to get to know somehow, and then finally the hurricane approaches and hits town. A lot of weather effects. We get a lot of CGI water, and
the smallest levees I've ever seen in my life break.
Yeah, they call it a levee. It was really just a seawall.
It looked like two concrete barriers for traffic stacked on top of each other, like a scene from Volcano.
Might have been a 6 foot tall wall.
Yeah, it wasn't very tall.
But the tidal surge is breaking against it. Then it cracks. Then it lets go, and the entire city starts to flood. Now, our heroine, I don't know, are we going to call Lisa that?
No, there's not a single hero in this film.
No, not really.
The baby, maybe the baby.
She had she had to go to work that day. And she finally gets out of the meatpacking plant job, and her mom keeps calling her. Is like, you got to get out of town. You got to get, Mom, I had to work. I'm from New York. Don't you know anything?
Who
And
FaceTimes?
she's telling her, well, you can't get out now. The highway is flooded. You got to get to high ground. Whatever, Mom, I'll do it. They lose signal. Drama.
Who FaceTimes like this? Are there people that FaceTime a lot? Rick, you're on here. Do you FaceTime people a lot?
Hell no.
Yeah.
My dad is 70 something, tries to FaceTime me all the time. I'm like, dude, I don't even like to talk on the phone, much less see your face.
Yeah, see, I don't get it. I mean, like,
We FaceTime, but with the grandkids.
Well, maybe
Just,
I get
you know,
that, I suppose. But I don't FaceTime
that's
with
it.
my son or my daughter. I don't
No.
FaceTime with my wife.
Mm-mm.
I don't get it. The movies always act like everybody's FaceTiming everywhere whenever they talk instead of just having a normal phone conversation.
Well, it establishes somebody else getting a screen credit.
I suppose.
It's kind of the way I guess that works.
But you know what?
But she's.
I will say this is an accurate part of the film. This is an accurate part of the story. Making people come to work in a potential disaster is something corporations do on the regular. So I'm not going to name the corporation for fear of retaliation, but there was this one corporation that ran trains through the Blue Ridge area of town when Irwin, Tennessee took that huge hurricane hit last year before, 2024, and it annihilated most of that area. And they tried to run two guys on a train into the area and tie it down in the middle of the town. It washed away. The city, the town was washed away. Those people would have been dead. All they care about really is about getting something moved and getting something done or getting that one last thing. They're not actually doing the work themselves. And we had to tell those people, no, we're not doing that. We're leaving them right where they're at, where they're safe in a hotel. We are not taking them and putting them in harm's way. And the corporations do that, man. They don't care. Look at me. Look, I'm in the middle of a lightning storm out here that you can hear on my earbuds. And Rick's like, you got to do the show.
I know. It just KLRN brass are just a bunch of heartless, faceless.
I mean, I would say I bust you guys' balls, but your old ladies have them in their purses.
Oh,
already
that's
anyway,
true. I'll get mine tomorrow.
Damn, son.
Every other Friday.
So, yeah, the calamity now is starting to beset Annieville, and
it's a real place.
So
I looked it up. I wanted to be sure. Annieville is a real place, and it's like 100 miles from the coast. So, I suppose
coast of America or coast of Australia?
The Atlantic coast.
Okay. And as she's driving along, a semi-tanker is coming the other way and waves her down and says, "No, Lisa, turn around. You can't get through. A tree blocked the way." Well, the tree was behind him. I don't know why he stopped, but he did. And then he tells her, "You know what? Go for it. You could squeeze through because you're driving a Mini Cooper. That's not a real car."
She was trying to push that Mini Cooper through the branches, and he didn't want to go through it with his. I'm like, she's gunning that thing, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, she's in a Mini Cooper. She's not getting through anything. Okay, this is not a 4-wheel drive F-150. I mean, she's in a Mini Cooper, and she gets stuck on a branch. But he's like looking out the windshield and sees the incoming flood of water that's pouring into town. I don't understand his logic here, where he's like, you know what, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, I'm just.
So
where was he trying to
he
go?
throws it into gear, gasses up, and starts charging with his semi at the flood of water coming at him.
Where was he trying to go? Was he trying to go up the ramp to like get on the interstate?
No clue. I have no clue. Now, again, I've said Paul and I have the luxury of been through a number of hurricanes ourselves. I know for a fact that when you're in very windy and heavy rain conditions, people generally drive with their windows up.
Okay, look, I was going to bring this up because this bothered me more than life itself. This was terrible. Everybody had their windows down. Why? It's raining. It's raining.
He's got them down in the truck. She's got it down in the Mini Cooper. To the extent, well, we'll get to that in just a moment, but as they're driving and there's wind and floodwater pouring in through the window. Okay, I guess first hurricane, you got to learn your lesson. She's from New York after all. So he's driving forward and gets caught up in the floodwaters. Shocker. And then amazingly, the floodwaters catch up to her and start sweeping her down the road. But I will say this: there was a camera angle that was kind of cool. They had a camera on a gimbal attached to her car while she was floating through the water.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Like I said, I'm not mad at the innovations with filming and special effects. I mean, I thought they did pretty well with that, the authors.
It was just kind of cool as the car's bobbing and swaying. The camera's locked onto her the whole time, and you see it move with her. It was kind of a cool effect. So she gets swept down a street, and then we cut back to the tanker as it gets caught in the floodwater that he tried to drive into. And it jackknifes, it starts getting swept back into the downtown area, and then the tank is impaled on a big statue.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The water moves his truck to the point so violently that it can slam it against the statue. That Mini Cooper weighs about as much as that tire, his front driving tire. And it just, and the water never comes in the car until the window is smashed, and it just gently rocks her down the street like a rowboat.
Yeah. I mean, she's floating along like she's a bobber, really. Looked like she was fishing almost.
She didn't look like she was in peril at all.
But while she's again floating and bobbing down this street, her window is down. It's like, girl, just roll it up and you're going to keep water out of your car. I'm trying to help you here. It's what I do. But she gets along, starts heading towards a tree. She manages to duck just as a very long branch gets sent through the windshield, out the back window, and it pins her into the car.
Now, this was a magic branch. Magic branch. Because it was a spear when it hit her window. It was a web after it was done. It grew another branch after striking her window. Because she's trapped in it now. It turned into a fork. It was a spear and it turned into a fork.
So it's had to be at least 8 or 10 feet long. Goes through the windshield and the back window, like I said. But then there was a branch fork in the middle of it, and it goes right around her waist, and she's pinned in the seat and can't get out. Now she's stuck as the water is rising in her car. Drama. Meanwhile, back at the semi-tanker, it has become impaled on the statue, and now the tanker has split right in the middle, folding in half. And the opening sees thousands of gallons of blood flooding out into the street and out towards the ocean, which is going to lure the sharks. Now, as a plot point, interesting. I'm thinking, okay, it makes some sense there. But as it opens up, crane shot from above, and it slowly pans down the street to watch as the red cascades down the street out towards the ocean to lure the sharks. Bullcrap.
Is that what maybe
of the highest order?
Did I blink or something? I don't remember that part of it at all. I just thought it impaled, and then the next thing I know, there's a bull shark on his leg in the cab.
Well, this was the justification. It's luring them in. Here's the problem. That would never happen because the floodwater is going in the exact opposite direction to the extent it pushed the semi, as well as the wind. So there would be no way for the blood to travel half a mile down the road to the ocean area when that's where all the water is pouring in from. Sorry, physics. But if anything, your blood is going to show about 2 miles inland. But we got to suspend disbelief because movie. So,
because
this is going to lure the sharks. The entire reason that these are bull sharks is because this is the only species that can survive in brackish water.
I mean, both bull sharks are all inside the Crystal River.
Yeah, bull sharks can breathe fresh water. In nature, they actually go into estuaries for nursery purposes. That's where they leave their mermaid purses, their egg sacs, and such. So they go into the freshwater areas.
The devil's mouth uses a bull shark because they're inside some sort of deep cave in a Thai underground river. So they make it a bull shark. It feels like Hollywood tries to go, like the writers go to the bull shark because it's like the kale of the sharks. It's versatile and they can use it for everything, but it's also, when you use it for everything, it becomes bland. And you know, like it is. It's like the kale.
Well,
bull sharks are the kale of the sharks.
Yeah,
I don't like them. I don't want to taste them, but I guess it counts as a vegetable.
Somebody figured out, hey, there's one shark that can go in fresh water, and it happens to be a predator. I mean, bull sharks are one of the nastier some bitches in the shark realm.
That's true. They are. Well, that sand sharks, I think, and lemon sharks, right? They're pretty aggressive.
Tiger sharks are, of course, great whites. The black tips and reefs will mess with you sometimes, but you got to really be in their environment and they got to be hungry.
Like the hippos.
Yeah. And hammerheads can, but generally they're not interested. As I said, I've swam with them before, swam through them.
Now, what about the street sharks?
Nighttime, they're more dangerous.
You don't remember that cartoon, the street sharks?
Oh yeah. The street lights come on, watch out. So now we've got bull sharks entering the city area. And Lisa is now stuck in a tree in the middle of the square and stuck on a branch in the middle of her car. She can't get out. Now, a couple of guys are in a boat for some reason. They're in a wooden trawler and they're paddling their way through town.
It's like a dinghy. Where are they doing? Now, I know that people generally go out there and in boats. My buddy, when the hurricane, what was it, 3 years ago, the hurricane came ashore down there around Port Richey. He lives down in a cul-de-sac, and it was on a dip in his neighborhood. He got trapped. It water filled the whole neighborhood, and he couldn't get out. And some people boated in and got him out there. So that's a thing, but it's not during the storm.
The Cajun Navy is known for that.
Yeah, it's not during the storm. It's after the storm.
Yeah, but these two guys are in a wooden boat, no motor. They're paddling, and I guess they think they're going to help out and rescue. So they're paddling along, and then they hear Lisa calling out, "Help! Help me! I can't get out." And the guy's like, "Wait a second, I hear something." Then they see her car about 100 yards away, and then the guy hops out of the boat.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get that. He's like, "Hey, grab the loppers, the long ones."
He sees her car, paddle over to the car, get her out, and put her in the boat. I mean, that's what you're trying to do. Instead, he gets out and wades through 100 yards of water. I see this in movies all the time. I think they try to get it like a dramatic walk up for the camera or something, but people will pull up to an area in their car or truck. It's like, oh, whoa, see what those people are doing. They'll stop and they have a good 50 to 60 yards to walk up. It's like, no, pull up to where they are. It drives me nuts. But then I guess you have to have that dramatic shot of them walking towards the camera. Maybe, I don't know. So yeah, he gets out of the water and he's like, oh, she's trapped. And he calls to his buddy now who's 100 yards away and has to scream at him through a storm. And he's going to get the loppers. He gets the loppers, doesn't paddle the boat back to where they're at. He gets out of the boat and starts walking over to where they are.
Like, what's the point of the boat? They were just there to introduce a plot device for later in the film. That's the only reason that those two guys existed in this movie.
Well, they're shark fodder. So the guy with the loppers gets pulled underwater and disappears. and his buddy at the car helping Lisa calls out incessantly. Then he sees Bubbles and goes walking over to the Bubbles. She's like, no, don't leave me. Help me out. Don't leave me. He leaves her. Guess what happens? So now he's a goner. The shark grabs him, slams him into Lisa's car, blood all over him, the water of the car. But the stakes have been elevated. We now have sharks in the cityscape. All the while, watching from the second floor now because her house has flooded out, we see Dakota is watching all of this take place. And then at some point, helpfully yells over to Lisa, who's pinned in her car and unable to move, don't move.
Shark. She's screaming during a hurricane with wind and rain and thunder and lightning. She's screaming shark out the window, expecting people to be able to like hear her. Worst character in the film. Worst character in this movie, but hands down.
I'll go with that. Yeah. Now we have to go back to the Foster family because we haven't spent time with them. We find out first off that the couple's down in the basement where the children are forbidden from coming. Their house is like, I don't know, like not typical redneck, but just, middle class, country-ish, blah, blah, blah. But then down in the basement, everything's state of the art.
Yeah, it's up. They're like upper lower class or lower, very lower middle class.
But the basement is tricked out. It's like they got a nice gun rack. They got a beautiful fridge stocked up with food that the kids aren't allowed to have, and it's comfortable down there. And they're getting their mail delivered to the basement. And we come to find out that the only reason they have foster kids is to cash the government checks that come along with them. And one of the girls comes down. They're hungry. You're forbidden to be here. And she's like, what's that? Steaks? We're starving. Can we have some? And they throw her a loaf of bread. Get back upstairs.
Yeah, and I will say that they were accurate on the he must have researched how much you get for a foster kid, because $1,500 is exactly what you would get for 3 children. It's $500 a kid per month.
Mm-hmm. Well, apparently that $1,500 buys a lot of guns. They've got about an arsenal stacked up on the wall and locked up, and they're not good people. Let's just say it. They're harsh rednecks and not good.
No, they're not. And here's the weird part is my sister has fostered, my best friend has fostered. I know plenty of people that I work with who fostered. They don't just hand kids out to randos. There's there is a huge process you have to go through, and
yeah, they got to vet the people,
right?
Sure,
yeah, and these people would never have passed that muster. That house would not have passed, and they would not have passed, and those kids would have the ability to complain because there would be welfare checks. When you foster, you get welfare checked on about every week and a half, 2 weeks. I mean, they check on the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sometimes they might get backed up, but I'm sorry, if the checks have been coming there for months, like they said on this thing, that those kids would have complained immediately, like they don't feed us, we don't go to school, and they haven't bought us anything. We've been wearing these clothes the whole time.
Yeah, you would think something of this nature would be revealed at some point, but we just have to swallow it that Mr. Olson, Billy, is mean. So, and all he does is bark at the kids, and they try to tell him things that are accurate. He's like, just shut the hell up. I'm sick of your crap. So, like they're telling him, there's a hurricane coming. Shut up. They're windproof windows. I put them in myself. I'm going to go down to my basement.
He said shatterproof windows. These are shatterproof windows. I installed them myself.
Which I'll give them credit to a degree. They didn't shatter. The walls, however, did. So there's at one point as the floodwaters are coming in, they're trying to tell him, Mr. Olson, turn around, look. You're like, well, you can't shut up. I'm trying to watch my truck pull here. The water is like 3/4 of the way up the window. And then the wife is like, Billy, maybe you should turn around. He does. And then the entire wall caves in and floods the house up. So, window's good. Framing of the house, not so much.
Not so much.
Priorities, I guess.
Well, and he's got he's like, I'll go out and get the truck because it's in the barn. And the barn is filled with water. And somehow he's like, oh yeah, I got a water kit on this thing and a snorkel. Well, I mean, the snorkels are real.
Well, first off, the kid's like, no, you should get, you could drive the truck because you got a snorkel. It's like, would you shut up? It's a storm out there. You don't need a snorkel. And he's like, no, I'm talking about the truck. The wife is mocking him as being stupid. And he's like, wait a second, the kid's got a point.
Yeah.
So,
again,
yeah, I mean,
if they had left the story on the children and the mom and dad, if they left it on them, kill the woman off early, let them have some sort of redeeming qualities with the dad near the end, some sort of, hero complex at the end of it, and let one of the kids lose an arm, and then I think you've got yourself a story.
Well, yeah, but we had to have a rooting interest, is the way it works. So couldn't do it that way, apparently. And so at one point they decide we're going to go out to the shed and get the truck, but the sharks now have arrived on the property. You actually see them swimming outside the window at one point. And they attack them in the garage where the truck is at. The wife pretty much buys it, but gets away. But then they finish her off right in front of the living room window. And then Billy gets set upon and then goes under and disappears. And pretty much the kids are like, well, we're done with those sumbitches. Cool. The cut back to Lisa now, I think. Because really at this point, the movie's just ponderous calamity for everybody. There's not a whole lot that happens.
Lisa has been going through labor throughout most of this movie. And have we gotten to the stare at my vagina scene yet?
No, that's coming up in a few moments.
Is that coming up? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. First off, so Dakota sees the guys get killed by the sharks and tells the girl who's trapped in her car and can't move, stay there. Thank you for the help. And then we get this I mean, it was like 10 minutes of screen time of watching her going through the house and getting items and preparing and coming up with this idea of something that vibrates will attract the sharks. So she finds the electric toothbrushes and puts them in a plastic bag and throws them around the area to distract the sharks so she can get to Lisa, gets the butcher knife to cut the tree apart so she can free her and then shred the rag top of the car so she can get out and they can get into the house. That's pretty much it. She gets Lisa on the bed. Do you have a way to get to the roof? So tear down the curtains and write out the words, help me on the roof, which
with curtains
is really clever because, once you spell out letters with curtains on a roof, the wind has no effect on them whatsoever.
None. Not even a little bit. I was laughing so hard when I was like, why is she pulling curtains down? Is she gonna wrap? Look, you live in she's walking around most of this movie, she's walking around shivering. She's super cold because she's been in the water. It's your house, girl. Go change your clothes. I promise you got another outfit somewhere in this house. Go change your clothes. And the pregnant lady, the pregnant girl, what was her name? Phoebe.
Lisa.
Well, Lisa, but the actress Phoebe.
Oh, right.
Dynavore. She was so cold the most of the movie. She was wearing like 3 layers of wetsuits. And she was super uncomfortable on almost every scene she did because of it. Because they had her in that thin dress, and she's wearing a pregnant belly and a wetsuit, and then she's in the water the whole time trying to act.
Well, I mean, it makes her look pregnant at least.
That's my problem.
But the pregnancy is about to come to an end, of course. Got to have that. So contractions are starting and things of this nature. Let's cut back over to the trio of children now, where they make the discovery that they were pocketing their welfare checks. They have to get into the basement now to get stakes and weapons. There was a scene when they were swimming in the river earlier where the older brother tricked them because he stayed underwater for almost 2 minutes. That comes back into play as he has to swim into the basement conveniently enough where he stays underwater for 5 minutes.
Now hold on. That scene is after the return of Mr. Olson.
Well, yeah, true.
Right, return.
There.
Is that his name? Was it Mr. Olson? Is that his name?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Billy Olson. Yeah, because when he and the wife bought it, they left the front door open. One of the girls had to climb across the cabinetry to get to the front door to try to close it before the sharks come in. Again, I haven't been in a flooded house scenario, full disclosure, but had she just hopped off the counter to the door and then closed it, 3 to 5 second effort maybe. But instead, she stands on the very edge, has to reach to the top of the door to try to get it to start closing, and lo and behold, the sharks swim in right underneath of her as she's making this archway. Not one shark, but multiple are in the home now.
And how convenient it was that the sharks were exactly kitchen size. They were kitchen-sized sharks. They swam through the kitchen with ease, just, like
around the island.
They got the Labrador.
One of them went
sharks.
down the hallway.
The Labrador of sharks was in there moving about.
And then, yeah, so there's drama. The kids have to stay on top of the furnace. Bitten. They start ragging on Billy Olson. Then, oh, screw Mr. Olson. I'm glad he's dead, right? And then look what happens. He pops up out of the water.
Now, how did he get in the house?
What?
He's missing a hand, and the shark was like going at him.
He lost his arm and half his ass, he said. But somehow he swam in. He swam into the house and around the kitchen island to where the kids were at, and then popped up out of the water.
And no one saw him. The sharks didn't see him. The kids didn't hear him or see him swim up.
So they pull him back up onto the dining room table with them, and then arguments start up. And then it's like, boy, I'll still take care of you, even though I only got one arm. It's like, really, we're still having a pissing contest. You're like the dismembered knight, and you're still pissed off.
It's just a flesh wound.
And he's about to lay into the kid, but then the older sister comes up and kicks him square in the head, knocks him back in the water. He's like, damn, you hit me in the head. And then finally the sharks take care of him. So,
and finish him off for good. Or did they? Dum, dum, dum.
It was a pretty cool effect, though. Like, the camera was right down at the water line. You see him splashing, and then red blood comes up every now and then. It was like, okay, they finished him off, but good. And while they're distracted, then the older brother swims into the basement, tries to get a couple underwater the whole time, by the way. Tries to get a couple weapons off. They're locked up. Goes to the fridge, grabs a couple steaks. Then his sweater gets caught on a hook. Then a shark comes swimming down into the basement.
Now, I will say that I enjoyed the sweater conclusion. The sweater comes into play more than once. He keeps getting hung up on it. And I'm like, this is is he stuck on this stupid sweater again? It was like the second or third time. And he actually makes the comment, I hate the sweater. I thought, okay, all right, you got me. That's funny. I think that's a good payoff. I like the setup, and I enjoyed the payoff on that.
Yeah, but we just, have to buy into one of those Hollywood moments where he's got like 5 or 10 minutes of holding his breath. So he sees the shark and he has to hide behind a bin, and then he pushes a paint can and distracts the shark on this side while he swims around the other. Meanwhile, he pauses and grabs a wet box that he finds and his other stuff, and then he swims back up and he just makes it back onto the table.
Now remind me, I'm not a physics expert, but remind me again, do paint cans sink if they've got air in them?
Yeah, well, they never uncapped this one, so we don't know how full it was. So I'll buy into it because it didn't plunge down. It kind of drifted a little bit and then landed firmly enough to make a noise. So yeah, trust me, in this movie, that was one of the least things I'd nitpick about.
I'm going to ask Sherman Williams. I think that's what he's here for.
Yes.
Dear Mr. Sherman Williams.
Send him a clip of the movie and say, how valid is this? And then you'll promptly be blocked from their account. But he does make it up, and they open the dry box since he couldn't get to the weapons. Geez, what did they get inside? Dynamite, of course.
And it says dynamite on every stick. On every single stick. It says dynamite. This dude is keeping dynamite. He's got what? There's probably 24 sticks there. It's like a cigar humidor for him. Filled with dynamite.
Now, again, full disclosure, I haven't been in a hurricane situation where the bottom floor of my house is flooded up, so I can't be hypercritical here, but they concoct a plan that they're going to wrap the dynamite in a steak, feed it to the shark, and blow him up. Okay, I'm on board with this to a degree.
I'm not mad at the idea. Okay, I'm not ticked off at it. In fact, I think it's pretty good.
The execution, however, I'm sorry, kids, you didn't think this through. So they do this. They light the dynamite. They throw the steak in the corner of the living room. And then it occurs to them to lure the sharks into the area.
But it's
while the fuse is burning.
Why would you throw it into the corner of the house? You're about to blow up the house. Just throw it outside. And then cause it's wrapped in meat.
Yeah.
Throw other meat around it. But even so, the whole SWAT team getting ready kind of situation where they're like, they did a bunch of those little cut scenes, pull the tape out, cut scene, rip the tape off, cut scene, do another angle of lighting a match, and then do another angle of wrapping it around. And like, it was like they're getting ready for war. It was so out of place with the cinematography that had happened up to this point. Like, it made zero sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was supposed to be played for comedy, maybe, but yeah.
You haven't been comedic this entire film. Like, not even there hasn't been anything comedic related.
Not intentionally. But so this is their plan. They throw it, lit dynamite, corner of the room. No sharks are present. I think that would have to be step one. Have the shark, then throw the bait to him. But and then while the fuse is going, they kind of look around and are like, oh, wait a second. Sharks need vibration. So the three of them jump in the water and start thrashing around about 4 feet away from a lit stick of dynamite.
Why couldn't you just take stuff and throw it over there? Why do you have to go over there personally and thrash about? Oh, I get it, because of the name of the movie.
And again, I'd wait for the shark to be around before I threw the damn thing. But so then the shark arrives. Then they have to get away from the shark. But then the shark is chasing them to the table away from the dynamite. This fuse had to have been 7 feet long.
Yeah. It was the slowest burning fuse. The only fuse I've seen burn slower are those ones they light inside of those coal mine videos in Pakistan or Kakistan or whatever.
Yeah.
You ever seen them where the dude lights the fuse and then walks for like 2 minutes out of the mine? And I'm like, that is that's a slow burner fuse.
I mean, the only one slower is the one in the opening credits of Mission Impossible TV show.
It's still going.
But eventually they get to the area where they have a sofa they could hide behind. A shark does go over and finally eat the steak and manages to do so just as the fuse goes off. Blood and guts and smoke and everything else around the area while these kids are safely behind a sofa about 10 feet away from the explosion. Sure they are.
Sure they are.
But they're all covered in blood now, and they're high-fiving and cheering. And they're, okay, that's it. And they decide to leave. And then the little one sees the keys on the table, where the hell they came from.
I thought they were in the truck. Did the guy swim in and say, "Let me get these keys out of my pocket"?
Apparently so. So they make their way to the garage, and they're going to start the truck. The two kids are on the hood of the truck for some reason. And then they pull out. I mean, this is basically the end of the film. But then they do a crane shot, and we see that every single throughout the neighborhood, the water level's up to almost the peak of every roof. These kids are not driving through that.
No, but they just, and that truck is, I'm sorry, and that truck is what? It's suddenly I don't know, is it a jet ski? It's like they're right on the roof and on the hood, and he's driving it, can't see now because they're on the hood. Why wouldn't you get in the vehicle?
Yeah, I'm completely unclear about all of that.
We haven't even talked about the underwater birth. Again,
no, we're getting to that now.
Again, it was another one of those premonitions, right? It was one of those foreshadowings, because the mom at the beginning of the film is FaceTiming her daughter, and she's like, Marcy's daughter, she had her baby in a pool. You should think about having your baby in a pool. It could be in a hospital, but just do it in a pool. It's really natural that way.
Yes, you need an underwater birth. No, Mom, I'll be in a hospital. They do that in the hospital.
And I'm just like, I said to myself, well, she's going to give birth in the water with the sharks around, and there's going to be a placenta scene. That's what's happening.
Mom is pushing that a bit too hard.
We didn't even talk about the scene where she's like, you have to tell me whether I'm getting how close I am to having this baby. I'm going to hike my legs up, and she's telling this to the other girl.
I know we're in the house now, and contractions are starting, and she's, I guess, crowning, and tells Dakota, "You got to tell me how much I'm dilated."
Yeah, she goes, "Well, I have to do what?" He goes, "You have to stare at my private parts and tell me in inches how big I am." First off, I understand that you think that we're all using that we're all too stupid to use the King's English, but the King's math is what we use here when it comes to determine how dilated a woman's cervix is. It's not
the medical field goes by centimeters,
not inches.
But we don't even need measurement here, because she's like, just look at it and tell me how much. Okay, how about using your fingers? Just get an approximation, then you hold your hand up and show it to her. I think that would work.
Hand her a mirror. I mean, something. And my favorite
the mirror's downstairs
is she's sitting on the bed like that, and she just hikes her dress up to her knees, and then in the very next scene, she's got some sort of heavy wool blanket over her. Like, suddenly, she just asked this strange girl that saved her life to stare at her private parts to see if she's giving birth. But now you're concerned about decency and cover yourself up with a giant wool blanket? That doesn't make any sense.
I like this, though, too. Dakota's looking at her in that fashion, and she's like, oh, something's in there.
Yeah, it's called baby.
Something. She's looking at her dilated vulva and is surprised to see there's something inside the pregnant woman. Yeesh. Yeah, this girl does need to get out. I don't care if she has agoraphobia. But so now there's determinations that she has to get Lisa out of the house. And so she is going to embark on getting across the roadway, I think, to acquire a boat that the two dead guys left behind. Toothbrushes are going off and attracting the sharks as she does this. Meanwhile, the water level's rising to the second floor of the house, and Lisa's bed is proceeding to float up to the ceiling. Drama.
Which that was actually a pretty cool scene, because the bedpost kept the bed from smushing her up against the ceiling. So, I mean, kudos for the development there.
Dakota's uncle, meanwhile, with the camera crew, has acquired a Zodiac. They've been trying to drive into the city to rescue her without any kind of navigational aid. They find a street sign that says that the city is 100 miles away in a Zodiac. You're going to get there in 2 days. I'm sorry.
Well, and not only is it 100 miles away, that's too far inland for that water to have crested. If the water comes 100 miles inland at that level, that height, the East Coast is screwed.
Yeah, they were on a highway in the boat.
The interstate, they called it Interstate 17, but there is no Interstate 17. There is Highway 17. Again, stupid Norwegian. You just stupid foreigners.
But so Dakota gets the boat. She's making it back to her house and then proceeds to watch the house as it collapses from the weight of the water. Right?
Yeah, just completely disintegrates.
The house is made of wood. It would actually be buoyant, not collapsing like that. But okay, what do I know? Not an architect. Full disclosure.
Now it would float away for sure. It'd come off the foundation and float away. That's for that happens.
Yeah,
all the
that
time.
could happen. But here it just starts collapsing into the water. But Lisa just barely manages to get out as she's having her contractions and starting to deliver. She finds her way into some floating debris and then is surrounded in blood as she has just had her water birth. Mom is going to be so proud. And the sharks are now swirling. And it's the last 10 minutes of this movie is nothing but near misses.
Oh, yeah.
They just get her into the boat before the shark gets her. Then the shark tips the boat over. Then
the baby just shows up, by the way. Did you not find that very off-putting? Like, she's in the water, bobbing around, and then the baby just pops up out of the water. Like he's attached to the umbilical cord.
Yeah, there was that bloom of blood in the water, and it's like, well, she's had the kid now. And it's just a series of having to pass him and then drag her up repeatedly. At one point, a shark is just about to get her, but we have the call back with the gun because Dakota has gotten a spear gun and she manages to hit one in the head just before getting Lisa.
Did you figure out where the spear gun came from? I did not.
No, when she was in the boat, she was at the one building. Remember, she had grabbed it and tried to pull it through the window and it got stuck, and then she snaked it through and then threw it in the boat. They did feature that at one point.
Oh, did they? I missed it then.
Yeah, it was like, well, okay, that's probably how she's going to kill one of them at least. So that was near miss number 2. And then the two of them get to a point where they're both somewhat safe with the baby, and they see her uncle's boat come up. They had found a SWAT truck and have now electrical charges they could throw out to dispel the sharks just before getting the girls. And then they're trying to get them loaded into the boat, but a shark is bearing down on them at top speed, is just going to clamp on it. And then a great white lunges out of the water and grabs the bull shark and prevents it from getting the girls. Because that happened. Of which I have to say bull crap now, because great white sharks are one of those that do not survive in fresh water.
Mm-mm.
Now, I know this was a storm surge and it's the ocean pushing through and such, but still, that had to have been a 15-footer in 6 feet of water in an urban setting and lunges out of the water like by 10 feet. Sorry, I've seen enough episodes of Air Jaws to know that only happens when they surge from deep underwater to hit a seal.
You clearly don't recall the episode of Happy Days then.
I clearly do not.
Where the Fonz ski jumps over a shark. It's possible.
Yeah.
That happens.
I mean,
Yeah, that's actually where that term came from.
The jump of the shark, yeah.
Jump the shark.
That was the episode that made that show go downhill, and everybody's like, okay, this show's stupid now. It jumped the shark.
But they pull him on board. Everybody, that we supposedly care about survives, hugs. Lisa borrows a phone, calls up mom. Here's your grandson. He was born underwater. You can shut up now. And then supposedly the stinger at the end of this movie is we cut back to the weather laboratory One of the guys is writing in a journal, and an alarm goes off, and he looks up. Paul, there's another hurricane bearing down on them. Roll credits.
Yeah, and I skipped.
Okay, that's our sequel, I guess.
I skipped to the end, hoping there'd be like a post-credit scene, and they follow it up with something, just like maybe the dad shows back up. He's like, he's not completely dead. He's just missing a leg now and half his butt.
Or maybe the baby grows up to be a weatherman or a shark researcher. Or nah. Well, that's Thrash. That's on Netflix. I don't know. I mean, it could be a diversion if you want.
I mean, it's forgettable if you want to put it on in the background while you're cleaning or taking a nap or something.
Yeah, that's
maybe
pretty much how this would be viewed. You'll do this while doing something else. And you're not going to miss much either, like the 20 minutes spent with her trapped in the car.
I will say I would watch this over the Toxic Avenger remake. I watched that this week, and it was, I don't even want to talk about it.
Sounds like you got PTSD from the movie.
I was highly upset at that movie.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this one. That's Thrash, available now on Netflix, a brand new one. So, Paul, where can people find more of your content?
Well, if I had electricity, you could find me online. Movie Paul.
You can still get online on your phone, Slacker.
I'm at 63%. I got to get up for work in the morning.
Well, I'm hoping you get your power back very soon. But at the same time, I'm kind of enjoying this little tie-in feature that you're going through a massive storm in our movie about a massive storm.
That's true.
Pretty dramatic, I got to tell you. As for myself, you can see my work online. I'm over at Mediaite right now, my brand new location for my scribblings, but you can also hear me on this network. I'm here at KLRN. Next Thursday, I'll be here with Ordy Packard, where we deliver all the vital news coming out of Hollywood, the business side of the show that we call it On the Culture Shift. And Tuesday evenings, I'm here with the ever-effervescent Aggie Rican on the Cocktail Lounge, our kind of fun news show where we try to come up with diversions and amusing asides to what's taking place in the news and political spectrum, sports, art, graphics, and many kind that we can come up with. And if you need more of me than that, let's face it, you do. Head over to Jitter on at Martini Shark. All right, Paul. Hope you have a flashlight in tow and can get through the rest of your evening with power back on very soon.
Well, I'm getting ready to go outside and crank up the diesel generator because I live in Florida and I am prepared.
Well done, son. All right. That's going to do it for this one. But with the popcorn bin empty, we are going to put our heads together. And in 2 weeks, we're going to be back with another bad venture right here on Disasters in the Making.
Has such a teeth there, and it shows them pearly white.